Noong nililigawan pa kita, hindi mo ako pinapansin. Ang gusto mo'y pagkadasal, wala kang time sa...
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to the KOR universe. Last year, a third handbook of the Knights of Rizal came out from the international headquarters. It was approved by the Supreme Trustee, headed by Sir Elihu Ibanez. This was compiled and collated by Sir Avelino Torres. Sir Avelino Torres has been a member of the Supreme Trustee in different capacities since 2012. He chose not to run for the Supreme Trustee election of 2021, but gave us this momentous contribution to the KOR. This time around, let us take a little time to educate ourselves on chapter activities that was put forward by the handbook based on the vision, mission, and objectives of the Knights of Rizal. This blog is based on page 22 of the handbook. These activities are not all-inclusive and are pointers for chapters during planning activities, especially at the start of the Rizalian year. The handbook put forward 11 typical activities that a chapter could concentrate in. These activities, while broad in scope, should be congenial to each chapter's unique situation based on their strengths and focus. Again, there are 5 missions of the Knights of Rizal. Each of them in the handbook have corresponding objectives that complement them. In the same vein, chapter activities should match these broad themes. The number 1 mission is to undertake, deepen, and broaden further studies about Rizal, his life, ideals, and values. There are 3 akin chapter activities forwarded by the handbook. Taking advantage of the mass media and multimedia platforms. An activity could include doing blogs, lectures, and speeches, among others. All this focusing on the teachings of Dr. Jose Rizal. Authoring written documents in the form of essays, poems, and other literary works to widen appreciation of Dr. Jose Rizal to the public, and chapter programs like contests in the schools for the youth that would steer topics related to Rizalian ideals. Mission number 2 is to promote, propagate, inculcate, and exhort the Filipino people and other nationals of the world to emulate and practice his teachings and examples. And just like Mission 1, sponsoring chapter programs like contests in schools for the youth that steers topics related to Rizalian ideals, and to practice his example, be involved in helping the less fortunate, especially in the field of medicine, where Dr. Jose Rizal was a practitioner. Mission number 3 is develop a perfect union among Filipinos and other citizens of the world in revering and perpetuating the memory of Dr. Jose Rizal, including the holding of commemorative activities in his honor. Authoring written documents in the form of essay, poems, and other literary works to widen appreciation of Dr. Jose Rizal to the public is one activity to satisfy mission number 3. And sponsoring chapter programs like contests in the schools for the youth that steers topics in commemoration of Dr. Jose Rizal. Number 4 mission is to educate the young to behave like men and nurturing their character and well-being. Sponsoring chapter programs like contests that steers topics in commemoration of Dr. Jose Rizal, especially for the youth. Increasing appreciation of art and self-expression through art and choral contests again for the youth and adults alike. And to serve the less fortunate street children by involving them in learning and expanding their horizons. Lastly, the 5th mission, promote the true spirit of Rizalian patriotism, chivalry, social development, and universal brotherhood. The chapters could be involved in service to the community not only for socialization, but also increasing knowledge and access to responsible commerce and trade. Socialization is especially important to uplift the spirits of the aged and the differently abled. Lastly, being a difference maker during times of calamity and catastrophe affecting fellow Filipinos is a chapter activity that is almost the ultimate expression of Rizalian ideals. The handbook specifically reiterates how chapter activities must align with Knights of Rizal mission and objectives. Aside from these ideas presented from the handbook, Dr. Jose Rizal's own life and writings could be a source of ideas for chapter activities and involvement. Chapters involved with activities that give life to Knights of Rizal mission and activities. Our vision of a world living in peace, freedom, and brotherhood through the teachings, ideals, and examples of Dr. Jose Rizal will be alive and closer to fruition. Again, the musings will be reviewing pertinent aspects of the new handbook in the hope that Knights would be enlightened, if not open an intellectual review of what we stand for and what our chapters can be involved in. Back to basics, where our strength lies. Thank you for listening to this blog. If you like this kinds of content, please help by subscribing to my channel and sharing this video to fellow Knights who would benefit.